welcome to Let's Grow Shopping. Another Galaxy Garden update. It's a bit late this one because I've got a workshop at the weekend and I'm flat out and I can't afford the time to put into it properly. So I hope you get something out of this one. We're going to look at a few of the veggies, but then also what's going on around the edge of the veggie patch that's been self-sown. First up, next to the path here, we've got marigold self-seeding. I planted that thyme and fennel self-seeding, and also fennel self-seeding on the opposite side of the path in the garden bed, which is cool because the rest of that garden bed has been annihilated by slugs, and yes, I'm getting a bit over the slug factor. But the major bonus of having flowers and smelly herbs next to your veggie beds is that they deter pests. And yeah, thyme, what could be better than walking across thyme and smelling that as you're walking through the garden all the time? I'm hoping it takes over all through the cracks instead of the copious amounts of onion weed I'm having to pull out, like there. And then further down the path we've got another thyme plant that I planted. And this borage just self-seeded right where it is, and we've trimmed it back a couple of times, but it still wants to keep going. So I've let it flower, and again it's providing pollinators, attracting predator insects for the pests, and it's all good. And just over the way from that are our first cherry tomatoes of the year. So that's again self-seeded, don't do anything to promote that, but man, they come out of the woodwork when it's that time of year. And then in the same bed as the tomatoes, there's borage, geraniums, the parsley, and the thing that's important about all these flowers is that they're all different shapes, sizes, depths. There's nectar in some right at the bottom, whereas the parsley is tiny flowers, but hundreds of them. All these nasturtiums. And so yeah, we're attracting all kinds of insect life to the garden. One thing I have done this month is, or this fortnight, I planted corn in seed pots, So I planted a whole packet in seed pots and a whole packet in the ground, and both of them have had about a 50% germination rate, which is pretty lousy. And so this week I got all the seed pot ones, and so these are the corns. I got all the seed pot ones and filled in the gaps where the directly sown ones had not come up. And so now I've got a decent looking corn bed. The peas in the same bed are looking extremely ratty, but I'm really hoping to keep hold of some of these at the top to provide me with seeds for next year. So I've got to wait till they go brown and crispy before I can pull them out. I've planted some beans in seed pots so that I can replace them as soon as possible, and I've got like beans with a bit of a head start rather than just planting them direct in the ground. We've finally got a couple of beetroot after a long wait. Very rare to see one big enough to eat in my garden. And you can see over the way here the damage the slugs are doing and all the cabbage whites to the kale. However, the spinach looks great. I'll be harvesting that for this weekend's workshop for some lunch. And again, at the end of the bed, self-sown, is a shiso, and it's a Japanese herb and very strong smelling, so good for, you know, deterring the pests again. And so I let things like this grow at the end of the row on purpose. Potatoes are in flower, which is a great sign. There's tubers being produced, and you can see this one, they were white flowers, and then you've got this purple one, which is probably the ones that I bought to fill in the gaps. And then there's a couple that are starting to die off, and over here we had ones that were in fact right where I'm stood, you can see that one in the background there that's just died off. That's one of the ones that was here before I created this garden bed, so it's buried about, I don't know, a foot deep in compost and mulch, or decomposed mulch. So there'll be spuds quite far down under that, but they've been around so long that they've given up the ghost and ready to move on. And so I can harvest a few more potatoes. It's given me the confidence that you can plant potatoes early just before winter and get potatoes over a longer period of time. These are the transplanted or potted up seedlings from last week. I just want to show you that on this end there's the blue tray of pak choy, and this last row of black, or this row here, was all cucumbers and all looking great, and slugs have just decimated this last row and the blue punnets. So there's only 2 cucumbers out of a possible 8 still looking very tatty, but possibly savable. And as for the greenhouse, well, everything's just still cruising along. Could probably do with transplanting stuff, but I haven't got enough time. It's much the same as last week, apart from I planted all the everlasting daisies and sweet williams and have replaced them with 32 corn seeds. So hopefully they take off this fortnight, and I put in some Blue Lake beans in these to get them started for the Galaxy Garden. And these are I put a load of button-up pumpkin seeds in the shop that got wet, and so I thought I'd just sprout them and see if I can give them away at the workshop. They're looking great. And to finish things off, I thought I couldn't get away with not mentioning these little guys. Wow, this is the 3rd haul this week. Using the vacuum cleaner to hoover them off the trees, stink bugs off the citrus trees. I drown them in a bucket and leave them for 24 hours. And then they end up as compost. A big shout out to Selena for swapping the corn seed with me so that I could carry on grow some more corn. The reason I was looking for extra corn seed is because the poor germination rates of the ones I'd bought meant that I still had gaps to fill. I've got a whole other bed to put corn in, and I didn't want F1 seed that I could buy locally, because F1 means it has been made by a company to not produce viable seed next year. So you can grow corn with that seed, but you can't save seed from it to grow more corn. So I was looking for some open pollinated seed which was not labelled F1, and that's what Selena had. So yeah, it's good when you've got growers in your local area. You can swap seeds and produce and help them out in the garden. And yeah, next week's update is going to be, our next fortnight's update is going to be a bit quicker than a fortnight, I think, because this one is so late. So I will see you soon. Thank you for watching.